Hey Photoshoppers, this is Rebecca, and today I'm going to show you how to make an Elena Serrano inspired image in Photoshop. So for this image, we need our character, our main person, and then we need a place to put on there. So on Elena's poster, she had South America as her place, just the full continent there, but we are going to use a castle for this one since I'm going with a Wizard of Oz themed um, image. So first things first with our person, I'm going to change our image size. I'm going to go to image size. I want my image to be 9 inches tall. So I'm going to change my height to 9. And then I'm going to go to image canvas size so I can crop it. And I'm going to change my measurement units to inches, change my width to 6. Since she's centered, I'll just leave my anchor in the center there and hit OK and hit proceed to crop the sides. Great. I'm going to duplicate that layer and hit OK. I'm cool with it being called background copy. Now I'm going to change my default colors to black and white. You can just hit D on your keyboard. And then I'm going to go to the filter gallery. So filter, and then choose this one down here, filter gallery. Today we're going to use the stamp filter. And these are my settings for this particular image. I have my my light dark balance set up to 33, so it's raised up a bit high for a lot of contrast there. And my smoothness is down to 9. So I don't want a ton of detail. I want her pretty blown out, and I'll hit OK. Great. So then if there are some extra little details that you're not crazy about, you can just use your spot healing brush tool to get rid of those things. Make sure that you have the second layer selected. So I don't need those. I can get rid of these here and this one. Doop, doop, doop. Okay, great. So that looks good to me. Next, we are going to change our colors. So I'm going to select the black first by going to select and then color range. Then I'm going to choose, since I'm using black, my black eyedropper here, and just click anywhere on the black area in the image and hit OK. And now all that black area is selected. Now I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to go to layer, and we want a new fill layer. Right here, layer, new fill layer, solid color. And from the color where it says none, I'm going to choose red and hit OK. Now that's going to bring up our color picker with the red gradient. I'm going to pick this second one here. I have only web colors selected just to make it easier for me to pick a color, and I'll hit OK. Great. So that's done. Now I'm going to make one more layer here and pull it below the color fill layer. This is going to be the background color behind her instead of white there. So I'm going to go ahead and change my black to this pink color and hit OK. And then I'm just going to use my paint bucket tool to just make sure that layer 1 is selected and just fill that whole layer. But now I want all her detail inside to be white. So I'm just going to use my lasso tool. I'm going to bring white to the foreground by doing a switcheroo here, or you can hit X on your keyboard. And I'm just going to loosely lasso around the details inside, and then use my paint bucket tool. Hit G on your keyboard to activate it, and just drop in that color. I'll hit Command D to deselect. I'm just going to zoom in a bit here. I can use my lasso again. Lasso, lasso, and then I'm just going to be real careful around the edges. If you're not feeling confident about your smooth lassoing skills, then you can use the polygonal lasso. You can use your pen tool and then change the path to a selection. Now I'll hit my paint bucket tool again, hit G on the keyboard to activate that, deselect. I did miss a tiny little smidge right here, so I can just use my paintbrush and grab that little spot there. Okay, oh, and I missed this whole section over here. There we go. G, boom, okay. And then this last area here, lasso one more time. Very careful. Okay, there we go. And I will pull down. I like to go outside of the canvas there for the artboard. And I will go back up here and then just close my shape. And G for the paint bucket one more time and drop that white on there. And Command D to deselect, Command 0 to show the whole canvas. Perfect. So now we've got her all done. We're going to merge these two layers. So I'm going to hit Shift to select the color fill layer and layer 1. And then you can go to Layer down near the bottom, Merge Layers, or you can hit Command E on your keyboard. And that's going to merge all layers that are selected. And now we're going to duplicate this layer several times. So I'm going to hit Command T to transform. That's under Edit, under the Edit menu as well. But then up here in the Control panel, I'm going to change either the width or the height, either one since they're both linked together, to 90%. Nope, I'm sorry, before I do that, let me go back a step. Sorry about that. We need to duplicate this layer first. So Layer, Duplicate Layer. Okay, now we are going to go to Layer, Edit, Transform, and we're going to transform by scale, but you can just hit Command T, like I said, as well. We'll change our width to 90%, and it's going to change both the width and height to 90%, and I'm happy with that. Now we're going to do those two steps several times until we make 9 versions of her. So right now we have 2, so I'm going to go to Layer, Duplicate Layer, okay, Command T to transform that new layer, change my width to 90%, hit OK. Layer, Duplicate Layer, Command T to transform, change to 90%, OK. Again, Layer, Duplicate Layer, all right, Command T to transform, 90%, Layer, Duplicate Layer, Command T to transform, 90%. How many layers is that? Okay, we need a few more. Layer, Duplicate Layer, Command T, 90%. Layer, Duplicate Layer, Command T, 90. Looks like I need maybe, let me see, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. Layer, Duplicate Layer, Command T, and 90%. Hooray, great. So next we're going to go over to our castle. And I'm going to select my castle using the Object Select tool. I'm just going to grab it here. And, oh, sorry about that. I'll try it again. There we go. That's great. And I'm totally fine with, this jagged edge over here. I think that looks kind of cool for what we're going to do. So I'm going to make a new layer here. And with that shape selected, I'm going to go change my colors to a wild, not too wild, but like a magenta, reddish magenta color. Maybe a little more punchy. Yeah, I'll take that real punchy pink. And then I'll hit my paint bucket that I love so much and I'll just drop it on that new layer and hit D to deselect. Oh, never mind. Hit Command Z to undo. And actually you want to select inverse now. So go up to select inverse. You can also hit Command or Control Shift I. Now we're selecting outside of the castle and we're going to change our color to a really nice blue. This kind of aqua blue looks good. And on the same layer, oops, got to bring that blue to the foreground if you didn't change the foreground color, and just dump it on that new selection. Hit Command D to deselect. So that's perfect. All right. Now we're going to grab this layer. We're going to do a little trick here and pull it, hover over that next tab, then hold down the Shift key before you release your mouse and drop it. And that drops it right in the center there. So I'm going to pull that down underneath that first image. So I'm going to change my blending mode to multiply. And I like the way that's looking so far. So with the layers below, we can change the colors. You can go ahead and turn off that, castle layer. We can change the colors to, we can just go back to, nope, let's use our, the magic wand tool. And I'll hit that pink in the background layer there and hold down Shift and hit the pink there and up here in this corner. Good. And then I'll just change the color to like the same blue and hit the paint bucket tool and then just fill those in. And it's only going to fill in that one border there, right? So then I'll go ahead and choose the next layer, hit deselect, and use my magic wand tool again. And I'll just choose those same areas, holding down shift to add more to the selection. This time I'll pick a different blue, like the next one over, maybe something like that. Hit G. Great, looking good so far. Then I will choose the next layer, hit deselect, magic wand, hold down shift, oops, hold down shift. I'm just trying to select the outside part there. This time I'm going to pick like a green, and I'll hold down, pick my paint bucket again, drop it on. Great. Next one, deselect. Magic wand. I got my new layer selected. Hold down shift. So there's a lot of repetition, as you can see. I'm going to pick a different green this time. I don't want anything too obnoxious. I think that's all right. G for paint bucket, drop it in, and just keep going. And then turn on your other layer and see how it's looking. It's looking pretty good to me. You can also go through and change the red in her hat and her shirt here. You don't need to go through and change her face at all. Just leave that white. And don't worry if you don't get a lot of the detail on the inside because it's probably going to be covered by the layer above it. But notice how the castle changes as well, and just keep going until you get the result that you like. All right. Thanks so much for watching.